What's up, Builders Club TV Nation? You got DeJuan Jones here, your professional stay-at-home dad. And man, when I tell you I am fired up and excited right now about the guest we got tonight, Builders Club TV family, I wouldn't be telling you the total truth. I'm so excited right now. We got Frank Calabro Jr. on the show tonight, family. Entrepreneur, online business success coach. He's known all over the internet. If you're on the internet, there's no way you don't know the name Frank Calabro Jr. He's been recognized as the #1 affiliate in the world. Some serious accolades, guys, but we got him right here for us tonight. Let me get myself on camera really quick, family, so y'all can see me live and direct. Want to thank you again, as always, for subscribing to the show. You're going to definitely want to share this. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be epic. The gentleman that we have on the show. Let me make sure we have our good friend Frank on with us. Frank, can you hear me okay, sir? Awesome. Let me get you on camera, man, so the family can see you live and direct. Let me see here. Here, our brother. What's going on, man?
Hey, enjoying an awesome day here in the sunny desert, man, in the summertime. Kicking back a little bit, kind of taking it easy, but still getting some work done.
Man, awesome, man. We got to thank you for coming on to the Builders Club TV show, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, man. I look forward to doing these interviews and connecting with other entrepreneurs across the globe and masterminding and such with other people that are making it happen.
Absolutely, man. And you've really been doing an amazing job at that already, man. I gotta say, I've learned when I found out you were going to be on the show. I learned. I was so excited because I've learned so much from you personally, man. So I gotta thank you for all that you do. And again, excited about having you on the show, Frank. We on the Builders Club TV, we like to do what we call jump into the Builders Club TV time machine, if you will, and we like to go back, right? We know you got an incredible story, and a lot of people follow you online already, but for the audience here, maybe some of us haven't had the opportunity to hear the powerful story that you have, so we're just excited to get into it. So will you take us back, Frank, and tell us, man, what were you doing before online marketing, network marketing, affiliate marketing? What was life like before with Frank Calabro Jr.?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know how far back you guys want to go,
man,
but
take us back, man. Take us back as far back as you want to take us back, Frank.
I can take you back pretty far if you want, but really, I discovered I was an entrepreneur when I actually figured it out. I was really like 10 years old, and I just knew how to make money. Nobody had to explain it to me or anything like that. I discovered that I knew how to make money already. And I come from a family of entrepreneurs, my dad, my grandfather, many people in my family. My stepmom, Joanne, was very successful in business. And I was just surrounded by other entrepreneurs growing up, and they were just instrumental in inspiring in many ways. And they taught me a lot of the fundamentals as I was growing up. I always knew I was going to be self-employed or something like that along somewhere in the journey of my life. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. I always wanted to be, basically the creator of my own economy, like so many people I grew up with, just watching my family be successful in various business ventures growing up. So that's really where it started for me. And then, as far as my professional background, I mean, I enlisted in the Marines. I was 18 years old right after high school. And then I took a break from all that kind of stuff, and I served my country for 12 years, guys, from the time I was
wow.
2 days after I turned 19 and then until I was 31 years old. All that time I served in the Marines.
Well, we thank you for your service, my brother.
Appreciate that. Yeah. And that was an amazing journey in itself. And that laid down a solid footprint, a solid foundation. And I think I needed the Marine Corps at that time in my life. I was a young kid, and, I had a lot of growing up to do. We all do at that age, right?
Was Frank wild back in the day, man?
Yeah, man, the Marine Corps was like the perfect thing for me. And I just fit. I mean, it was like, it was as easy as breathing for me. I adapted to the military like almost instantaneously. And I had a successful career. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. And I call the Marine Corps, I call it an institution of leadership. And that's really what it is. Some of the most inspiring leaders I've ever seen in my life, people I served with every single day in the Marines. And I learned all about leadership in that institution called the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And, some of the greatest leaders I've ever seen, and people that there was no movie made about these people or no book, right, but I witnessed it firsthand every single day. And it was an amazing journey. And it just laid down just such a solid foundation. You learn things like self-discipline and, taking care of your body and taking care of your men. And there's a teamwork element to it because everything you do is a team. You back each other up.
Right.
And it's just an amazing experience for a young person to go through. There's no doubt about it.
Wow. That's good stuff, man. So you're getting out of the Marine Corps, man. Were you ever involved in corporate America? I'm trying to picture Frank Calabro Jr.
No, man. No, never, man. Never, man.
Never had a 9-to-5, you know what I mean? Nothing like that.
Well, as a teenager, I worked for my family and such. I worked on farms for 5 years as a child, from 10 to 15. And then from 15 to basically 19, I worked for my dad and my grandfather. They had a restaurant. And I worked part-time for my mom. She had a furniture store, and she taught me a lot of really good stuff about marketing. She taught me a lot of stuff about profit margins and such. She would show me how much she would pay for an item and how much she would sell it for, and she would show me the profit margin. And she really taught me how to manage my money when I was very young, and taught me how to budget, and really laid down the fundamentals to financial success, which I still use today.
Wow.
So, that's what I did when I was a teenager, you know what I mean? And of course I had paper routes, and I hustled, and I did anything to make money, shoveled snow and did some landscaping. And I did a little bit of everything as a kid growing up. And I always had money in my pocket because I was always hustling as a teenager. And a lot of teens back then, we all did the same thing. We all hustled, man. We always wanted to have money in our pockets because if your parents weren't rich, my parents weren't rich, they were successful at what they did. They did help us out as much as they could, but they weren't rich.
Right.
And if you wanted money in your pocket, well, you had to go out and hustle too, right? So, that's the way it was, man. So, and it was awesome, and my dad was really instrumental in a lot of things. My dad would always put me in a situation where I would think my way through the problem instead of him doing it for me. He always put me in situations where I'd learn something. And I thank my dad for that every single day. I became self-reliant. I learned that from my father. So, but I never had a 9-to-5 or nothing like that.
Right.
The day I stepped out of the Marines, I was already self-employed that day. The very next day, I was already self-employed. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So fast forward a little bit, Frank. You ventured into the online marketing space. Here's what I want to know. When you first got word that you could make money online, what was your first impression of just the industry? I'm sure you saw examples. Did you ever have doubt that you could do it yourself?
I never even knew it existed.
Wow.
I discovered it in 2010. I discovered something called network marketing in January 2010. And just discovering this business, the things that had to happen, the people I had to meet, the decisions that I had to make in life. I had to move 200 miles away, then move back to a town that I thought I would never move back to, another 200 miles. And the things that had to line up for me to even discover this industry, looking back on it, it seems impossible. It truly seems impossible. And I discovered network marketing first in January 2010, like I said, and it was through a friend, and I never even knew what network marketing was. Didn't even have a clue what it was. I got invited to a meeting, right?
Wow.
I got invited to a meeting, right? You get invited to a meeting, right?
Oh my God, you had a visual. Frank Calabro Jr. sitting in a meeting.
Well, a friend of mine who I've known for about 3.5 years, this is the way he did it. His name's Danny Rayner. He invited me to this meeting, and it was over at a guy named Tommy Humphrey's place. He had traditional business owners, right?
Yeah.
I was a traditional business owner at this time. I had a bar in Jacksonville, North Carolina, a sports bar and grill for 13 years. So I'm just a traditional business owner, working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week in a storefront. I got 9 full-time employees, 9 headaches to deal with, 28 part-time shifts a week, and just all the crap with the traditional business. So anyway, make a long story short, a friend of mine, Danny Rayner, who was also a traditional business owner, invited me to a meeting over at Tommy Humphreys, and Tommy had an air conditioning and heating company in town. And he's like, hey, Frankie, come on over to Tommy's. There's going to be other business owners, people that you know will be there. Come check out what we're doing. So that's how he did it. I didn't know what I was going to see. I didn't know anything. So I get over there, and there's this gigantic conference room on the second floor of his building. And it was a pretty large conference room. And this thing was like packed. And I'm like, what the heck is all this going on? I didn't know what the heck was going on. And there was a bunch of people in that room that I did know, but there was a bunch of people I did not know. So I sat down and I watched his presentation. A guy named Dwayne Brown showed something. It was a traditional traditional network marketing offer. I didn't know what it was. I called it a leveraged income model. And I was just blown away by this, Dewan. I never seen nothing like this before.
Yeah.
And this guy named Dwayne Brown, he was making something like $30,000 a month.
Wow.
I remember pulling him aside, and I said, Dwayne, wait a minute. You're making $30,000 a month, and you don't have a storefront. You're not paying $4,500 a month for a storefront. You don't have $5,000 in utilities to pay per month. You don't have 9 full-time employees to pay, and cost of goods and taxes and insurance and licenses and all this crap that I had to pay. My bills at my traditional store were $33,000 per month just to keep the doors open. Jeez. But every traditional business is like that. Yeah. Every traditional business in the world, you got between $10,000 and $100,000 a month. I'm talking small businesses. You got between $10,000 and $100,000 a month in bills to pay just to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
I was doing the same thing my grandfather did. Same thing my dad did. I didn't know any different. I was just doing the same thing they did.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's like, no, I don't have none of that stuff. So he's making 30 grand a month. He doesn't have all that stuff that I have to deal with. I instantaneously knew I was going to figure out what this guy did I'm going to figure out how to do it too.
Absolutely.
I was going to try and figure it out. So that's how it really got started. I got started in network marketing.
So you signed up with this particular company right away?
Yeah, I got started pretty quick. And I basically just did what they told me to do. And they told me to show the plan.
Yeah.
And I'm fearless, man. I mean, I'm ridiculous. I mean, I'm fearless.
Right.
I'm not afraid of anybody. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? So I was showing
Marine, come on.
I was showing the plan to everybody, like literally. And I was showing the plan probably between 2 and 10 times per day.
Wow.
7 days a week. Plus I'm working my business too at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm showing this plan, and fast forward about 9 or 10 months, and I made very little money. I made about $2,000, but I spent about $10,000. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not doing something right, man.
Yeah.
I also noticed something else. I was showing the plan that to 2 people that didn't want to be successful. I mean, people just didn't want to be. I mean, I was showing the plan to people that weren't interested in being successful. And that's when I learned, I never knew this. I was so naive.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to be successful. I didn't know that. I thought everybody wanted to be rich. I thought everybody wanted to be successful. I thought everybody wanted abundance. Because when I was growing up, everybody I knew, even my family, they were all going after it, man. They were all going after it, man. And I didn't know that there was people that they just want to make enough money just to slide through the door at night and push the button on Junk Food for the Mind TV, and they just want to make just enough money so they can make it to the couch. And to get back up the next morning and go back to that 9 to 5 that they hate. Most people, 70% of people, I think, want to do that. 30% of people are going after it. Just my opinion, just my observation.
I mean, I can't disagree with that observation at all, man. I mean, the facts are on the table. So you got started, first network marketing company, being introduced to the industry. You said you only made about $2,000, so it wasn't like you had mind-blowing success. You spent more than you made. My question is, what kept you inspired after that to keep going in that direction?
I just could, Dewan, I was hooked, man. There was no way I was going to quit. Like, I just had to figure it out. I wanted to get out of my traditional business so bad that I would do anything to get out of it. I mean, imagine working 16 hours a day, 7 days per week for a decade. Like, I couldn't even attend my own children's birthday parties because I was at my store.
Wow.
I mean, it was ridiculous. I missed birthday parties. I missed weddings. I missed life. I missed life events.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my store owned me. I didn't own that business. That business owned me. It was a nightmare. I would do anything to get out of it, so I had to learn a new skill. So in November 2010, I went to YouTube, man. I was like, YouTube, and like, there's got to be a way to figure out this marketing stuff. I got to figure out how to do this stuff, right? So I watched a video, and I must have opted in. I don't even remember doing it, but yeah, I must have put my name on a landing page and such, and I even put my phone number in there because the next day I got a phone call, and the person, I watched their video, they were calling me, and I was like, wait a minute, I seen you yesterday on YouTube. Here's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
This person was calling me from China.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm in North Carolina at the time. I'm in North Carolina. This person's calling me from China on like a Magic Jack thing. And the Magic Jack was like in Florida. And I'm like, holy cow, I seen you on YouTube yesterday and this and that and the other thing. And he's like, yeah. And I was watching all this person's videos on YouTube, and he was living in China at the time, but he was also doing like this internet marketing stuff, and it wasn't making a lot of money, but he was making like maybe $2,000 a month. Plus he was teaching English in China, making like $800 a month. So he wasn't making a lot of money, but he was making it happen.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute. You mean you can make a living on the internet? I didn't know. I had no clue, man. I was clueless, man.
Mind blown.
So that's how I discovered internet marketing. And you guys probably know this name. I'll say his name. The person that introduced me to something called internet marketing was Justin Varengia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, true story. That's a true story. Now, he was not successful then. He was just like struggling, man, but he was making it happen. He wasn't making it happen in big.
Yeah.
You know, he pretty much starving to death, broke, still breaking even.
Yeah.
He was still trying to figure it out himself, but he was about 4 years ahead of me. And, you know, most of his language and his terminology and the words he was using, they were just flying over my head, man. I don't understand what he was even talking about.
Right.
Landing page and this and that. And, the other, and I was like, man, you need to slow down.
Wow.
I didn't even know how to buy a domain name, man. I was like, well, what's a domain name? I don't even know what that is.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So obviously you started to do some studying, right? How did that go?
Yeah, it was rough, man. Oh God, the next few years were rough, man. I found a mentor, and I should have stuck with Justin, I think, a little closer, but he seemed so advanced. I was trying to figure out what he was talking about half the time.
Yeah.
And but I was trying to absorb all this information, all this new knowledge. Another thing that happened in 2010, whether people realize this or not, you know, social media is really a brand new phenomenon. We're only being really big about 10 years, this thing called social media. And of course, we're on a social media platform right now. But in 2010, 3 things happened, and I watched the world change right before my very eyes. And those 3 things were, number one is social media went viral, okay? Wi-Fi became like readily available. It was like everywhere. Like Wi-Fi was like everywhere in 2010, and people started to carry these machines called mobile devices. So all 3 of those things that happened in 2010. Social media went viral, Wi-Fi, and mobile devices. This was like all brand new technology in 2010. I watched all of this happen, and because of that, my store, we had a decline in sales, and it was drastic, and it was September 2010. I'll never forget it. I came in on a Tuesday morning, and I looked at the sales report, and we had like a drop of like 63%. And I'm like, overnight. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened last night? And of course, my brother was working for me at the time, Jimmy, and he says, oh, you know, nobody came out, this, that, and the other thing. And this went on day after day after day after day, week after, and I'm still bringing in a full crew of people.
Yeah.
I'm bringing in like full payroll, I didn't cut back anything. It took me like weeks, a couple months to figure out what happened. See, before social media, before Wi-Fi, before mobile devices, people went out to socialize and meet. And yeah, I mean, I had a spot that was happening, man. It was jumping. You know what I mean? I had like one of the busiest bars in town for a very long time, for years and years and years.
Oh, wow.
I had a good run, like over a decade, I had a good run.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, my sales dropped off. In fact, they fell off a cliff. They never came back. I went from being busy 7 days a week to being busy maybe 3 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, for real. So at the same time, I'm starting to dabble in this thing called internet marketing. So that was another motivator. Well, I better figure out a new skill, because what I've been doing for the past decade, it ain't working that good no more. Yeah. So went through all that crap, cutting back, slashing everything, I mean, you cut back and cut back, but you can only cut back so far, you know what I mean?
Was there any time where you felt discouraged, like, man, this information that I'm taking on seems a little bit daunting because it's brand new?
Sure.
At the same time, I have all this going on, all this drama with the business. How did you stay motivated?
All the time, man. I mean, because it was so, Dewan, it was so difficult because there was no guidelines. There was nobody that could teach you how the internet worked, because people were still trying to figure it out. I found a mentor the following year in 2011, and I paid this person $9,000. Teach me how to market online. Show me how to do it. This person showed me how to fail every single day. Every single thing this person showed me did not work. It was a bunch of black hat voodoo stuff that probably worked back in the mid 2000s or early 2000s. Put up a bunch of junk websites, trying to trick the search engines, and it was like the Wild West crazy stuff, right?
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, so it was the best training ever. And it was the best $9,000 I ever spent, because this guy just totally taught me how to fail every single day. The following year, 2012, that's when I got some good training. I started getting some good training. End of 2011 and early 2012, I learned how to start building websites properly, building websites, building blogs, creating content, creating YouTube content, getting that stuff to rank, learned SEO. I started learning some very valuable skills from a guy named David Boozer. He's a blogger, and he's really, really, really good at what he does. And I remember buying a course from David for like $500. It was a blogging course. And I swear the information in that course was worth $5,000. I'm telling you. It was like I had to unlearn all the bad habits from 2011 and relearn everything the right way in 2012. So in 2012, that's when I really started learning about infrastructure, about being found on the internet, about having YouTube channels and having a blog, creating content, getting that content to rank, okay? We still didn't figure out this whole lead generation thing. That was kind of like difficult. It's kind of the mystery. Didn't figure out how to duplicate and replicate yet. I was struggling with that. How do I get people to do what I'm doing, man? How do you do that, right?
Yeah.
That was the tough part. But 2012, I laid down a really solid foundation, learning the fundamentals about marketing and advertising on the internet, and building my online footprint, I call it. And you got to be found on social media in order for people to see your offers, your products and services, whatever they are. You've got to be found first. And I even built a simple website for my bar at the time, and I ranked and dominated for every keyword possible for my bar in my local area, my local community, because business owners there didn't have a clue how the internet worked.
Timing.
They didn't have a clue, man. I mean, so I just dominated everything. But 2012, April 30th, I think May 1st was my last day in the bar business. I just shut it down, man. Shut it down, man. And I knew I was going to shut it down about 14 months before, and I knew the day I was going to shut it down. I had the day circled on the calendar, but I told nobody. Told nobody, man. I had to get out, man. I had to get out. And I was learning these new skills at the same time I was trying to get out of my traditional business. And I had to get out before I went out of business. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I was basically racing the clock. I was going to go out of business.
Wow.
So I had a new skill before time ran out.
Jeez, that's some serious pressure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is crazy. Let's talk about this breakthrough point. So when you started to see this stuff working, right? You've been studying, you've been putting in the late night hours, putting things together, understanding the fundamentals, and then all of a sudden breakthrough starts to happen. Take us there. How did it occur?
You know, that didn't happen for 10,000 hours of studying. I worked basically for 4 years for free. I made very little money. Basically 2010, 11, 12, and 13. All those 4 years. I didn't break through until I completely exhausted all my money. I ran out of money. After I shut down my bar, I was making about $1,000 a week in affiliate commissions. So I figured I knew enough to sustain myself, and I would pick up the rest as I went forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And here's another thing. I want to talk about my traditional business real quick. I want to say something about that. Here's the biggest scam in the world. It's called a traditional business, okay? And I'll prove it to you right now. After 13 years or whatever it was, the only thing I had left, I had about $30,000 in cash when I was all done. Like when I shut it down, I sold whatever equipment I had down there. I paid the last set of bills. I cleaned out all the cash in the safe and collected up the money that I had. I had about 30 grand for 10, just say 10 years.
Yeah.
That's about $3,000 a year. Think about that. I worked 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And at the end of a decade, I had about 30 grand in cash. Right?
Wow.
Let me give you an example and tell you why that model is so outdated in that model. There's no way you can win, especially if you're a small mom and pop type operation like I had going on. There's no way you're going to win. Here's why. Let's say, for example, I buy a case of Budweiser for $20, just for even numbers, okay? And I sell that case of Budweiser for $60. I sell it for $3 a bottle, whatever, okay? Some people will say, well, you just made $40, man. You're making money, right?
Right.
No. Here's what happens with that $40. I got to take $20. I got to buy another case of Budweiser. I got $20 left over. What do I do with that $20? Well, my electric bill comes in. My electric bill is $1,600. So I give that $20 to the electric company. Okay, I got to sell another case of beer, don't I?
Yes.
I got to do that over and over and over and over and over again until that electric bill's paid off. Okay, here comes the water bill, $1,000 for the month.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, just think about that. And all these bills just keep coming in, man. They just keep coming nonstop. The TV bill, direct TV, $600 a month. Okay. So who am I really working for? I'm working for Budweiser. I'm working for direct TV. I'm working for the water company. I'm working for the electric company. I'm working for everybody but myself. Everybody gets a guaranteed paycheck except me.
Wow.
That's the biggest scam in the world. And people say that this industry is a scam. Are you kidding me? You take 100 businesses right now, traditional businesses that start today, 100 of them, okay? You fast forward 12 months, 50% of them are gone.
Wow.
Okay? Fast forward 36 months, another 50% are gone. You got 25 left. 3 years into it, there's 25 left out of 100, maybe. Fast forward 10 years, there might be 2 or 3 left. So traditional business has a 97% failure rate, yet people say, well, that internet marketing, that's a scam. Figure that one out.
I can't, man.
You can't figure it out, man. This is why I came to the internet, Dwan, because the low cost of everything.
Right.
You know, I run a company out of my home. I don't have to pay this crazy, $33,000 a month in bills. You know what I mean? I pay hosting like $120 a year, and I can build unlimited websites. I couldn't believe how cheap everything is on the internet, even to this day. When people say something is expensive, I don't care what it is. I laugh. Oh my God, I laugh, man. There's nothing expensive on the internet. Nothing. What, my internet bill here is expensive? No, it ain't, man. It's nothing.
Right.
Try paying a $1,600 a month electric bill. Try paying $5,000 a month in utility bills per month that keep coming in month after month after month, man. Try paying that. So that was my attraction to the industry, was the low cost of doing business. You know, I had $5,000 that I had to pay each year in licenses, pieces of paper that hung on the wall in my establishment. What a scam that is. I got to buy a piece of paper that says I can be on business, and I got to hang it on the wall so that when some inspector comes in, I got my license hanging up there on the wall.
It's like mafia style.
I had state licenses and city licenses and county licenses, and it was ridiculous, man. It's crazy. But after I got down to my 4th year and I completely ran out of money, that's when I figured everything out. It's crazy, man. It happened that way because it was supposed to happen that way for me. That's the way it was supposed to happen. I was supposed to run out of money, which is what happened. And I ran out of money because I was paying for my daughter's college education, and it just took me to my knees, man. I couldn't keep up with it. I was I was trying to learn this marketing thing and pay for a college education at the same time. And I didn't have to pay for that education. I could have just told her, just drop out, get a retail job, make $8 an hour somewhere. I can't pay this. I can't do this. And I didn't do that. I just manned up, man. I paid it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it, man. And I just added up those receipts. I got them in the other room. Yeah. I paid over $88,000 in cash on a college education that just, it took everything from me. I mean, it literally, all my material possessions were gone because of the college education. Yeah. And I got everything back, man. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. But
yeah. In fact, tell us, man, this is an amazing story. Tell us though, that first commission check that you received that made you start believing you made the right decision.
You know, there was no way I was going to give up, man. I mean, there was just no way. And I kept on trying different offers, different opportunities. I mean, I joined everything in the world, and all of it was just a complete disaster. And it wasn't until I figured out how to really generate leads, and I figured out email marketing, which is basically communicating with your tribe, right? You generate a lead, you got an email list. Well, you actually have to talk to that email list. Yeah. And then all you do is validate it on social media by sharing proof, progress, and results, whatever the product and service may be. Okay. Yeah. And that's really, it's really that simple. It truly is that simple. There's only two things you got to convince people of. Number one, the first thing is, does it work? So does the product or service work? You have to convince people of that. Okay. That's the easy part. Number two, can I do it too? That's what the hurdle you got to get over. And we didn't have these duplication and replication tools that we have today. We didn't have this technology that we have today. We didn't have it. When I discovered it, I instantly started teaching people how to duplicate and replicate, basically follow in my footsteps. That's when it started happening for me in 2014. And you know, I went from making $26,000 per year in 2013, and I've shown my 1099s before. Right. The following year, 2014, I made $96,000 because I learned how to duplicate and replicate, and I learned how to generate leads, email marketing, and I learned how social media, how all three of those things, they connect together in perfect synergy. See, there was no instruction manual on how this internet worked. Nobody taught us how to use it. So I said, okay, I can't find anyone to teach me how to do this. I'm going to figure it out. Then I'm going to teach everybody else.
Wow.
That's exactly what I did. I was one of the first people on the internet. I'm like one of the framers in internet marketing. I was one of the first people that figured out that lead generation, email marketing, and social media, it all connects together. I was one of the first people that figured that out.
Yeah.
I mean, now Fortune 500 companies figured it out. There's a lot of companies that have figured it out. There's still people that don't know how to do it still.
Yeah. Let me ask you about that. Do you see the industry moving towards that direction? A lot more people doing what you did back in 2010, you know, learning about the internet and starting to figure out, you know what, this is a new era, and maybe I should take a closer look into the internet side of building a business.
Oh yeah, there's no even convincing anyone of anything no more. You used to have to convince people that they needed to be found on the internet. Now they're just like, I know you're right, show me how to do it. You know what I'm saying? There's no convincing involved, no whatsoever. They know they need to be on the internet, they need to get found. They want you to teach them how to do it.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And it feels like that just
the market has matured, man. You know what I mean? The market has matured.
Absolutely, man. Frank, will you give out your social media, website, things like that? Before you do that, Builders Club TV family, make sure you like this video and share it. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be inspired by the information Frank is laying out here tonight. Frank, yes, give out your social media, website, anything like that. The folks can get in touch with you if they like.
Yeah, you guys can find me at planetmillionaire.com. That's home base for me. That's where all my online infrastructure is, my social media profiles, everything is on that blog. And there's a ton of free training sitting there that people can plug into. I give away probably $1 million worth of training a year. It's crazy what I give away, man. But I really want people to understand this marketing stuff. I don't want them to struggle as hard as I did, and for as long as I did, for 4 full years, I worked 10,000 hours for free before I figured out how to make money. But now making money is as easy as breathing. It's so simple. I can't even stop the money now at this point. It just pours in, and I don't even have to do much anymore.
Wow.
I just, I order traffic, I send out emails, I do some social media stuff, and I can shut down. I literally can only work 4 hours per day if I want to, but I'm an infrastructure guy, and I build a lot of systems. That stuff is very time consuming. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of passion. And, some of these systems I build, I put 125 man hours into a system, and I don't come up for 2 or 3 weeks. People don't even hear about me. I'm working 18-hour days, but stuff like that is really addicting. And that's the great thing about this industry. It's so exciting. You get to be so creative. You get to be the master of your destiny. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Frank, we got to have you back, man. There's so much that we can learn from you. Absolutely. We got to have you back. In fact, Frank, we'll be having or debuting a new series called the live chat series, the Builders Club TV live chat series. That's basically where we'll go live at this point, and the audience now becomes the interviewer instead of myself, and they get a chance and opportunity to ask whatever they want, questions about their business, questions about the industry, questions about you, whatever they want to ask. But it's a great opportunity for them to speak to a mentor. Also, debuting sooner than that is the Builders Club TV Day in the Life. This is basically the lifestyles of the rich and famous for the network marketing industry. This is about motivation, inspiration, and belief, where we turn the camera on, and when you show us whatever you want to show us, we get to pick your brain a little bit more in a mini interview, but we get to, we get all exclusive or all access. You get an all access pass, take a virtual field trip, if you will, and we get a chance to look into the life of the successful. So we're definitely looking forward to having you back for that, man.
Oh, sure. I'd be delighted to share that. And, this lifestyle, it's beyond my wildest dreams, the things I've been able to do over the past 5-6 years. Completely amazing. I've traveled all across the world. I've done things I never thought I would ever even see. Total freedom lifestyle, man. You dream about it, but then when it happens, it's even better in real life than your dreams. I promise you. And it's so worth it. It's, learning these skills was so worth it to me and my family. I've done so much for charity, ridiculous things I've done for charity. And, and for my family, I helped out my family. And, you help out your church, you help out whatever you want to help out. I mean, money does solve most problems, guys. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. And once you have an abundance, then you can reach out and, pull up the next person and help the next person and do things that you're very passionate about. And it's truly limitless, man. It's truly limitless. Once you break through and you figure out this marketing stuff, you're like, okay, this is easy, man. Let's do something even bigger. Let's you start pulling up, setting up the bar a little bit higher and reaching for the sky, man. You start escalating your mindset increases big time. Your belief system increases big time. And once you believe in yourself, there's no stopping you, man. You just cannot be stopped.
Belief is the number one thing that we've heard a lot of the leaders who have been on the show so far talk about, having a belief, and that's actually fundamental and where it starts. Frank, last thing I want to ask you before we
Sure.
get off, man, is what are you doing these days, man, as far as you've helped a lot of people. You talk about the funnels that you create. I believe you're probably one of the best out there creating automated systems. What are you doing nowadays?
Yeah, I just released a brand new system, and I'm basically teaching the fundamentals, and I'm showing people really this one particular funnel that I just released. I show people how I created over $600,000. Oh, it's well over that now. And I did this basically as a back end optional offer. It made crazy. You make $600,000 without even trying to do it, just because you had a product or service inside of a sales funnel. So basically, I'm just teaching that right now. I built a brand new system for that. And the cool thing about it was I already got it done. I got it up. I got it running. Strategically did this so I could take the rest of the summer off. I'm literally off in August, and I'm probably going to take September off too. I do work a limited schedule, 3-4 hours in the morning. I knock out a certain things. We got like a very tight schedule. We're very disciplined with our time. There's certain things that have to be done each and every single day. So we knock that out. Then we basically just shut the computers off. So I'm literally off this summer, guys, yet the money is rolling in, and I'm helping other entrepreneurs at the same time because I released a brand new system that focuses on the fundamentals of marketing. How awesome is that?
Man, that sounds amazing. That sounds so powerful, man. Man, we're gonna have you back, Frank, soon, because again, we could pick your brain all night. We want to just thank you again for coming on to the show, brother.
It's a true honor and a privilege, man. I just feel blessed to be here, and anytime you guys want to invite me back, I'll definitely be here.
Man, it looks like we got to have you back for the lifestyle show, the day in the life, man, because I'm loving the background.
I got to show you guys my house, man. I live in a castle. This place is awesome, man.
We already know, man. If you watch, if you follow,
at least that 900 square foot dump I used to live in, man, in Jacksonville.
Man, if you're not following Frank on social media, make sure you follow, and you'll get a chance to see some of the lifestyle that he enjoys. But we're going to have you back, Frank, because that Day in the Life series, I think, is tailor-made for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, Builders Club TV family, Frank Calabro Jr. Peace.
God bless everybody. Thank you for having me.